Welcome to Survivors Talk with your host, April Jackson Hunter. Hey, welcome to another episode of Survivors Talk with me, your host, April Jackson Hunter. If this is your first time joining me, I'm going to give you a little background history about myself. Let me take my glasses off. I hate the glare of this computer. When I start back reading, I put them back on. I'm a survivor of domestic violence. I am also the founder and the president of Mercedes Closet Incorporated, which is a nonprofit geared to empowering survivors of domestic violence, trans violence, sexual assault, survivors like myself. This was a long journey for me. And throughout this journey, I found that surviving was not created equally. So I built a platform to just embody the survivor that I wanted to see in somebody else. Today on Survivors Talk, I got a topic that hit close to home: generational trauma. I know I am not the only person with a crazy family. And I started thinking, because I had someone ask me a question. The question was, how can a mother hate their child? And it just hit me. Like, who do we learn how to become a mother from if it's not our own mother? And I started thinking, like, could this behavior pass down from generation to generation? And I started Googling, and I came across the term generational trauma. If you see me looking down, you guys, I have notes because I really wanted to just, embody the whole topic of this conversation. Because this conversation it really just struck me to my core. It saddens me, this behavior saddens me, to my core. It's just like I hear so many people talking about things that go on in their family, especially as me as a Black woman. I know in the Black households, we've been told countless times that what happens in our family stays in our family. And this includes generational trauma. These things is so embedded in our life that it becomes normal to us. So we don't see it as trauma. This is just our family. You can't help your family, right? You can't help what dynamic you were born into. Can you? Before I get started, I'm gonna read to you what it has, generational trauma, what it is. So according to Google, which is I got it this morning, generational trauma or transgenerational trauma is trauma that can be transferred in between generations. Transferred trauma. And we hear it so many times that hurt people. So why we don't connect the two as far as parenting and other things that happen inside the family, why don't we connect it? Because we see the pattern of if a child is molested at a young age by a family member, 9 times out of 10, The person that did the molesting was molested themselves, and so forth and so on. So it's like trickling down, and nobody gets help because, like I said, this stuff gets put up under the rug. Nobody wants to be, oh, this is the big family secret, or you knew Uncle James was doing this and his father been doing this for generations and generations. But y'all so hell bent on not exposing or bringing shame to your family that you don't seek help for these babies that's getting traumatized. So the cycle continues. So now little Susie or little Johnny done been traumatized and will go on to traumatize their children, which will go on to traumatize their children. When will the cycle stop? And going back into the question that I said earlier about how can a mother not love their child? Do you ever think about she felt the same way about her mother? Like, or she embedded this into her head. This is the way a mother is supposed to act towards their child. How about learned behavior? Because she's embodying the mirror image of the mother that she's received. So before you go start pointing fingers at her being a bad mom, who did she learn from? Nobody comes out knowing how to be the perfect parent. Because I know I don't. I don't. I was a parent at 17. It was nobody's fault but my own. I don't blame anybody, any generational curses behind me becoming a parent at an early age. I do. I think my mom had her baby at 17. And I think about it, it might even be, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Could it be something that my sister had a baby at early, both of my sisters had babies at early ages. My daughter had a baby at 17. It's like you embody the person in front of you. It's a mirror image. So it's time to put the brakes on this. It's time to put the brakes on generational curses, on generational trauma. It's time that somebody stands up and be like, hey, this is happening. It's time to come together. We got to fix it. Stop being so afraid to bring shame to yourself that you continue to go down this pipe hole of trauma. Like we are raising generation after generation of mentally scarred individuals, and you wonder why it is so much hell on earth because nobody is taking the time to heal these kids or these parents from things that are happening inside these families behind these closed doors. It's so hard to face the fact that something happened to you, something happened to your parent, something happened to your child. You don't even want to talk about it. You can't even have a conversation. Or just sweep it up under the rug. Let's get some normalcy to our family. We don't want nobody to know what's going on. We don't want nobody to know we got that kind of people in our family. It happens every day. And you don't even want to talk about it. We talking about it today. Because it's not only just happening outside the door, it's happening in my family too. My family is to the point now, but we can't even have a big family function because it's so much intertwined generational trauma that's going on inside my family. Yeah, I'm speaking about it. You want to block me after this? Go ahead. Because I want to be the one to stand up and say, it's a problem going on and we need to fix it. It's time to let go of past hurts. It's time to say, hey, I'm hurting and we can get through this. Because we're adults. And what's going to happen is the people that come behind us is going to mirror the same image that we are mirroring. So that means the next generation is going to act just like we're acting right now. And we're going to have a bunch of little kids running around angry at their cousins, at their aunties, at their nieces and nephews because they see us angry at the people before them. It's called family feuds. You know, we all have them. We all heard about them, and we don't even know why the Clampets and the Jetsons don't talk to each other. We know they came back from when great great grandmama and great great grandmama had an argument and fell out, and now none of the family don't talk to each other. And we down here 200 years later, and we still don't know why we don't talk to each other. We know that this how we fruiting with them. We don't talk to them. But why? I'm just saying. We can absolutely heal from generational trauma. I'm gonna give you some gems that you can implement in your life to start the process of your healing. Because maybe it comes down to you and your family. Maybe you will be the one to end the cycle of generational trauma. Our first gem is acknowledging that there is a trauma, a problem. Acknowledge that there's a pattern. You got to see it. We see it. We don't want to talk about it, but we do see it. Sometimes I get angry with my kids. I yell. You know, sometimes I do. And I feel like I get my point across if I yell. And I have a sibling that yells all the time to get their point across. I guess they feel like without yelling, nobody hears them. It's a trickle down effect. If I'm doing it, if she doing it, it got to be somewhere down the line that we seen it. It just don't happen overnight. This is a pattern to me. There's a pattern of toxic behavior that's going on inside our family. I'm being vulnerable and putting myself out there because I can't talk about nobody else's family. Like I'm talking about mine. So this is not to call nobody out. This is not to step on anybody's toes. It's about healing for me. Because I want, before I leave this earth, to have a family function that we are all on one accord and not you sitting over there because you don't talk to her or you sitting right here beside me because you don't talk to them. I want to get past that. I want everybody to sit down and have a dinner, have a conversation, have a good time. That we don't have to be feeling like we can't be in the same room with somebody because of some past hurt that we bringing and trickling down from 10,000 years ago, or maybe even 10,000 seconds ago. It's time to move past. See the pattern, acknowledge that there is a problem, and we'll start healing. You can start healing yourself. You can start letting them, allow them to heal themselves, come together. And it's not about being a big, it's not about staying, oh, I'm not apologizing. She ain't apologized to me. It's not about this, it's about being a bigger person. It's about coming together and saying that there is something. It's about that. After you acknowledge that there's a problem, after you see that there's a pattern, you need to identify the toxic behaviors. Make a list. It's easy to do. Like I said, for me, I yell. You know, when I get angry, I do yell sometimes. I see that. You know, and I just feel like it's not about being a stern mother. Because you can talk without yelling and screaming. Sometimes I feel like they don't hear me unless you yell. You know, sometimes kids get you to that point. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's about jotting down your behaviors. It's time to stop making excuses. I'm sorry, y'all. This hair's in my face. I'm imperfect. So I feel like crawling on my hair. So I'm moving it. Yeah, but it's time to stop. It's time to stop being ashamed. It's time to stop being quiet about your feelings. Because if somebody has hurt you, it's time to sit down and have a conversation and was like, hey, I feel like this hurt me. I feel like we are grown enough to sit down and say, I'm hurting, you hurt me. I need to understand why you're doing this to me. Or can you please just have a conversation with me and let me know what I did to you? Because you feel like I wronged you in some way, let me know. Talk to me. I might not even know. I might just feel like this is me. I mean, I wasn't trying to hurt your feelings. This is just who I am. I'm obnoxious. I mean, sometimes people are just that rude that they don't even know. They don't even can't even digest that they did something to you. Because it's like you have to learn. You have to talk, communicate. So you see the pattern, acknowledge the behavior, and we're on number three. When you acknowledge the behavior, you have to see what triggered the behavior, so to speak. So, like I said, I yell. I yell because I get angry. Like say for I've told the kids several times to do something and they're not doing it. So now I feel like I'm angry. So now I'm all up in their face. Why you didn't do this? Or you need to do this. It triggers down. It's a trigger. And I say it trickles down. It comes that we mirror image because I've heard my daughter yelling at her kid. And now that I see her doing it, I'm like, oh, stop doing that. You know what I'm saying? And I can see, and the first thing she said to me, like, "This how you did me," and I'm like, oh, I think I did do that, because they learn from watching us. So now my daughter is yelling at her kid, and I guarantee you, when he has kids, he's gonna yell at them too, because we learn from the people in front of us. Generational trauma. We don't know that we're traumatizing our kids, or we don't know that the person in front of us traumatized us, and it's seeping down. It's just like a weed. It's just manipulating its way through through down through the years, through the generations, through the family. We're gonna keep moving forward. I have see the pattern. I have acknowledge there's a problem. See the pattern. You gotta see the behavior and see how what triggered the behavior. After you get through this process, you have to get you a plan in place. You know what triggers the behavior. You got to set up a safety network to identify when you feel like the behavior is going to come on. Try to establish a way to, I can't say break down the behavior, but try to stop yourself before their behavior starts erupting. You know that you yell at the kids. I said when you go in there and that you told the kids several times about their not picking up their toy, and you're at the point where you're angry, before you go and talk to the kids, I feel like you should go in the bathroom, close the door, take several deep breaths, process it, and then go get the kids. See, now after you release the anger and release the tension, your mind is in a different mindset. So now you can go in there and get the kids and say, look, I asked you several times to pick up this toy off the floor. You haven't done it. So now mommy's angry. I feel like you should pick the toys up now. Go to your room. You're in timeout. The toys are being picked up. There was no yelling involved. You did some really good, badass parenting. It's a different mindset. I know this is tough, guys, because it's sad that we have to be this way. And it's not about parenting kids. It's not about, what I'm saying, just being a bad family member. It's about healing. Because when you go through a journey of being a survivor, you have to figure out where your trauma started from. And sometimes it's not all about domestic violence. Sometimes it's not all about your adulthood. Some things, the root of some of your problems come from your childhood, down from stuff that happened way before you even were born. Because domestic violence can be an inherited trait. Alcoholism can be an inherited trait. All these things can trickle down from way back when. Some of these behaviors are stemming from some stuff that ain't even they've been embedded in your family, in your life, trickling down. And it's time to heal from this stuff. I'm gonna give you one more gem. Last but not least, you gotta give yourself some slack. You gotta stop being so hard on yourself. Because the thing about it is these behaviors, these emotions, this trauma has been embedded in you for so long. It's not gonna disappear overnight. It's a work in progress. Healing, surviving is a work in progress. You don't pop in the microwave and come out healed. You can't go to counseling for one day and leave and be all anew. These are things you have to work at every day. And I feel like it's doable. I feel like it's time for you to love yourself. I feel like it's time for you to love your others around you. And it's possible. I know that they hurt you. I know that you're hurt behind something that somebody else did to you, whether it was your mom, whether it was your cousin, whether it was your brother, whether it was your grandma, whether it was your uncle, whether it was your auntie, whatever it was. It's time to stop doing this to our family. It's time to stop pushing trauma up under the rug and allowing it to seep down through and decay our generations. It's time to stop. It's time to stop allowing these kids that have been sexually assaulted by someone in their family who you know is doing this, and they have to remain silent, and you're forcing these kids to be around this person who has traumatized them because you don't want to bring shame to your family. What you have created by doing just that is way more greater damage than you have done by simply cutting off the disease part of the family and letting the rest thrive. Because now you have this person that has done this drastic deed, which is probably had been done to him beforehand, because it's trickling down. Now you have this seed that's growing inside this child. They feel like they can do the same exact thing because it was done to them, and nothing happened. There was no repercussion. There was nothing came of it. So now they feel like this is okay. What was done to them is okay. Nobody did anything. You know, mom and dad is mad at me because I even said anything about it. So therefore, this got to be okay. So now they grow up. Even before they grow up, because they probably start doing it to somebody before they grow up because it's a learned behavior. Now they grow up, do the exact same thing. And the cycle continues. This trauma has to stop. Generational trauma has to stop. And you are the one. Your voice, you, can stop it. Would that be you? Will you heal the pain of your generation, of the one before you, and generations to come? You are enough. Thank you guys for allowing me to utilize my voice. Thank you guys for coming back every Saturday to listen to Survivors Talk. Please like and share. please subscribe to our channel. You can check us out, me, my organization, Mercedes Closet Incorporated, and any of my books at www.mercedescloset.com. You can find me all around social media, April Jackson Hunter and Mercedes Closet Inc. on Facebook and Instagram. You can find me on Twitter at Mercedes Closet. I thank you guys again for just being a part of Survivors Talk. And if you would like to come on Survivors Talk and share your story, feel free to email me at mercedescloset@yahoo.com. I'll see you guys next time. And you are a fearless survivor.